Hey guys, so if you've been with me for a long time, you'll know that I used to have a series on my channel called Raw Advice. Now what Raw Advice was is you would ask me any question that you had, didn't matter the topic, didn't matter how deep or how large or how seemingly inappropriate the question, I would answer it. I would answer every single question that was asked to me, and it was fun while it lasted. Even then, when my channel was smaller, there were a lot of questions and it got incredibly overwhelming. There were so many people asking questions about like dating advice, sex advice, boyfriend advice, relationship stuff, mental health, and I started feeling like I could possibly be either giving the wrong advice, or sometimes these videos would take me 4 to 5 hours to film. So one of the videos was like an hour and a half long. It was a lot. And so I really just kind of strayed away from it, and I honestly just stopped. But I wanted to bring it back because when I was doing that series, so many of you had an amazing response to it. We had a community going on here. We could talk about everything. We could discuss different things. If you saw my last Chit Chat Get Ready With Me video, you'll know that I want to become close with you guys again, because over the last year I feel like I've really gotten out of touch with a lot of you, and I don't like it. I don't like feeling like I don't know my subscribers and that they don't know me. And that in turn leads to less views on my videos, but it's my own fault. And a lot of that comes from me not sharing any deeper side of myself with you. It's more just surface level things such as, today we're gonna do a pink smoky eye. And it's like, okay, Kristi, well, we could find that anywhere. And I know for myself personally, a lot of the people that I follow, if not all of them, I follow for them and their personality way more than I do their skill in makeup, because there are makeup artists every damn where, and I really don't care if you can do a better smoky eye. I want to know who you are, and so that's what I wanted to bring this back to. I know that a lot of you guys really prefer the Chit Chat Get Ready With Me's and the talking videos, and I prefer to give you guys what you want, so that's what we're gonna do. So I figure each video will have a different topic, and I can, there are some topics that I wanna talk about, but they are big topics that I feel like I wanna have a more structured idea of what I wanna talk about. Like one of these says right here, I would love to hear your opinions on why people are so sensitive these days, and if you think it's wrong or right. That is something that I want to touch on, but I wanna make an entire, very structured video about this, because I feel in 2017 the world is more sensitive than ever, more offended by everything than ever, and more divided than I have seen in my lifetime. I'm 29 years old, and I feel like this deserves its own dedicated, very well thought out video with different viewpoints and everything like that. And I have a lot to say about it because I've been through, I was born in 1987, so I was through some of the 80s, all of the 90s, all of the 2000s, and now I'm into 2017, and I've seen a lot of things. And I don't know if a lot of you guys are younger than me, or if you guys are in the same age group as me or older. I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on that. I've seen a lot of the different time periods. You know what I mean? I've seen what the world was and what it is now, and I can see a clear difference. And it's not just because I'm older and I'm reflecting and seeing things differently. It's truly because the world is a crazy different place than it used to be. And a lot of what we left behind is the ability to agree to disagree. And again, I want to make a whole video on this, and this one might not be as structured, but I feel that in the world that we live in today currently, the ability to agree to disagree is lost on us. And I think that's a lot of the times what's causing all of this drama and controversy and all of the problems that we see online. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And I think that a really healthy part of friendship and conversations and learning about each other is knowing that people are gonna have different opinions than us, and that is okay. And as long as their opinion isn't hurting somebody else, it's okay. I think that's where a lot of this world and this chaos and this craziness and this hatred that we have right now in this world is from a lack of being able to understand somebody else's viewpoint and be empathetic in the way that you can see what they're going through, and you can see their viewpoint, and you may completely disagree with it, but you can say, it's okay that you have a different viewpoint than me. Drive away. I just feel like a lot of the world that we live in right now, we can't agree to disagree. Now, a perfect example of this is friendships that I have with people. And I'm going to use Alex as an example for this because he's somebody that I talk to every day of my life and have every day for the last year or more that we've been friends. One thing that Alex and I can do that I find a lot of people don't and or can't do is have an objective conversation with each other about something that they disagree on. Again, I'm going to touch on all of this later, but I feel like this is a good starting point for this sort of series on my channel. Alex and I disagree on a lot of different subjects. We'll have a conversation and he'll be like, how do you feel about XYZ? And I give my opinion. He's like, oh, that's really interesting. I totally disagree. I feel like this. And I can see his side and go, I actually understand why you see it that way. I still believe in my way, and I totally disagree with that and would never do it the way that you do, but I can understand why you do it that way and or see it that way. That is a healthy way of looking at differing opinions and or viewpoints, if you ask me. Now, all I can give you in any of these videos is my personal opinion, and my opinion is going to differ from yours, and what it shouldn't do is make you hate me. Because I'm never going to judge you for how you feel about things, even if your opinion is completely differently than mine, because does zero good whatsoever. How many times have you been talking or seen somebody on Facebook or one of your friends or one of your family members and they're pro something or they're anti something and they're hateful about it, and they post their little hate speech online and they talk mad shit about it and they say, anybody that disagrees, get off my friends list. That's the least productive way of ever making anybody be able to see your viewpoint ever. A lot of the times, these conversations are just for having and not for changing anybody's ideals or belief system whatsoever. Because all the conversations I've ever had with anybody regarding anything, even if it's something I didn't believe in, I still don't believe in it because I have my own belief system. A lot of times, bringing up these topics, I'm afraid to even talk about them online because of this people being sensitive, people being judgmental, people being hateful thing. And I feel like that's so stupid because how are you ever supposed to learn about anybody else's viewpoint or side if you can't even see their side of the spectrum, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's really important for us to have these conversations where we can be like, look, I totally disagree, but I respect your opinion. How hard is that? I listen to people all day long that have completely different opinions than me, and unless they're being incredibly hateful, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay with that. I completely could be like an activist against something and you may not be. And as long as you're not hurting anybody, I don't see why we can't just all get along and agree to disagree. Like me and my husband, we have very differing opinions about things. That wasn't English. We have very differing opinions about things. Sometimes we get in little tiffs about it, but then again, if there's one person in this world that I can be like, fuck you to, it's my husband, because that's marriage, if you didn't know. We have differing opinions, and we can have objective conversations about them, and I realize that a lot of the times these opinions that we have don't in any way affect our lives whatsoever, but a lot of people like really strongly believe in what they believe in. Like Zach and I have differing opinions on so many different things, and yet he's my husband. I'm married to him. I love him dearly. He's my best friend. And we can respectfully have these conversations with each other because we realize that it's okay to feel differently about things. Sometimes it can kind of make you feel funny and make you feel like, you know, I thought I knew you better than that. At the same time, there are so many other things that are more important than sometimes what we believe in. If you are totally opposite and you just can't let it go, you know, you can let that friendship go respectfully, but there's no need to be so judgmental at other people online. And this is such a touchy topic because I have the ability most of the time to look at a situation and put myself in other people's shoes. And I feel like that's a lot of the times what some people in this world are lacking is empathy. They can't put themselves in somebody else's shoes and think, how would that make me feel? And so they say things or they do things that are just totally hateful and hurtful and demeaning, and they think about only themselves. And then that is, I think, a detriment. I think we should all have a little bit more empathy, and I don't think that could ever hurt. Putting yourself in someone else's shoes, I think that that's healthy and important to sometimes step away from yourself, who I'm selfish in some ways, and I'm completely selfless in others, but I think being a little more selfless is important. And if we take away just a little bit of that selfish side of ourselves and go, you know what, how would I feel if that were me? How would I feel if that were my family or my children, etc.? Put yourself in their shoes, and I think that that can be like so good for just the world in general. But I just feel like this is one point that to kick off this series, because you may see something that I have to say and you may be like, fuck you, Kristi. I totally disagree with you. You're wrong. You're a total bitch. I can't believe you feel that way. I thought I knew you. I want you to have a more open mind than that, because again, I'm not going to be talking about topics on here. Like, I'm not going to get into the biggest, heaviest topics of the United States situations going on right now, because a lot of the times all that's going to do is cause a fight in the comments, because again, people can't agree to disagree. I don't want to bring on any of that. I want this to be a fun place where we can talk about things that are like exciting and crazy and sometimes deep. And you know, I don't want to bring my channel into a place that is hateful in any way. You know, if you're stumbling upon my channel again, maybe you were unsubscribed, or you know, you saw my viewpoints a couple of years ago and you want to know, do I still think the same way? There were some things I said a few years ago I take full responsibility for. I take full responsibility for my ignorance, and my just some of the things I've said are disgusting, and I am sorry for a lot of them. I'm sorry for a lot of them. But all I can do is say that you live and you learn and you move forward, and that's what I'm doing. And I want us to, you know, just have a little safe place. We can talk about shit, we can disagree about stuff, but we can be respectful with one another in the comments, and just realize that there are 7 billion people in this world and growing every single day, and that the likelihood we are all going to agree on one topic is incredibly unlikely. If I think about the person I was 2 years ago versus today, I may have given advice 2 years ago that I don't believe in now. That's just part of life. But me, Kristi, as this 29-year-old woman with a YouTube channel who does makeup for fun, who has a husband who has 3 cats that I love my husband, I love my friends, and I feel relatively secure in who I am right now. I have a high confidence level, even, you know, with the extra weight I have and, you know, all that kind of shit. So I feel relatively okay to talk to you guys. I feel like, I mean, in 3 years, I'm probably like, oh my God, can you believe the shit I said in 2017? Oh my gosh. You know what? This is relevant to now. And I can't think into the future of like what I'm going to think back on what I've said now. Yeah, you know, I think it'd be fun to have this conversation and just like talk to you guys and hear what you have to say, because you guys are all awesome. And if it gets too nasty in the comments, I will block and delete your ass so fast. I miss you guys, and I miss just chatting about shit and being able to, you know, think. And I think education is so important, and I feel like a lot of the times the shit that we see online is completely void of any sort of deeper thinking, and I think it could be just good in general. Who am I? I'm just some internet bitch. I love you guys, and I'm excited to start back up this series and talk about different stuff than what we normally do, because it's so surface level sometimes that I'm just like, I don't care about makeup right now. Like, I just don't. Sometimes I really do. Like, I'm really into makeup right now as we speak, but sometimes I don't care about it, and I just want to talk about other things. Then some days I don't want to talk about anything deep, and I just want to do makeup. And so that's what this channel's for, man. We can just do whatever we want. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you know, hit the thumbs up button if you like the idea for this series. Leave me any suggestions on what you guys want to talk about in the comments of this video. You know, give your opinion and your, you know, viewpoints on things, and I would love to hear them. And I would also love for you guys to chat in the comments to each other. Just realize, like, you know, that's a viewpoint I never thought of before. I want to know what you guys want to see. If you guys have any topics you've just been dying to hear me talk about, or to hear anybody talk about, I am more than happy to film that for you. If you see in the comments that somebody else has mentioned something that you want to see me talk about, instead of commenting it, just upvote their comment so that I can see it. I do read every comment that comes through. If it's something maybe that I don't feel like I want to make a whole video on, there are some controversial topics I will not talk about. You get it. You get it. There are some things I am not gonna do. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'm so glad to be starting this series back up. I feel like I've got a renewed sense of purpose here on YouTube. So I love you guys so much, and I will see you at my next video.